Hi everyone, welcome to the bunny house. Come on inside. Hi everyone, my name is Raul Baltazar and I am a contemporary artist. A contemporary artist means an artist that is living today. And what artists do is they basically go around saying like, oh, that's interesting, or oh, that's interesting, or oh, that's beautiful, or oh, that's beautiful, or that's beautiful. So as artists, we create the new beautiful or the new interesting. And even though it might not be that interesting or beautiful to other people, you are going to introduce them to looking at things in a new way where they might not see the beauty in something, but you do. And so you could change their life forever by creating this work of art or by being an artist. So for example, with this sculpture work, I thought, wow, these bottle caps are really beautiful and they make such a really cool sound, right? Or I thought, you know, oh man, these axes are pretty cool. Like I'm gonna decorate them and put like leather on them and bunny fur and these belt buckles. And I collected, you know, these little wrist bracelets. I collected bracelets and I put them together in this kind of pegboard, which I also thought was beautiful, where most people might not even look at it when they see it at a store. We sometimes see things, for example, like I really have always loved these blankets. I don't know if you guys ever had one of these at home, but you know, blankets with images on them? I always thought they were really interesting, so I decided to turn this into like a costume, right? Or I also turned it into a painting. So with this painting, for example, I stretched it onto this canvas. See that? And then I glued these obsidian stones in the eyes, and I just kind of left it like that. I didn't, and I created a painting by stretching a blanket over the canvas, you know, stretcher bars to make a painting kind of / sculpture. But then later on what I did is I got a piece of material like this, a canvas. See this piece of canvas? And what I did with that was I painted this blanket onto this, and I made it two-sided, you know, I made it double-sided the way those blankets are. So this is a double-sided paint. This is painted on canvas and has the images of the deer on both sides, just the way this blanket has it. So I'm kind of doing copies of copies, right? And it's kind of like a sculpture and a painting at the same time. So that's what I try to do with the type of artwork that I make. For today's project, we're going to make a painting that you think is beautiful or interesting, right? So I'm going to do my painting on this, and then you're going to need brushes, right? You're going to need paint. So these are the different colors, right? It's like a yellow ochre, a dark green, a yellow. You're gonna need a palette in order to mix your colors. So this I just got from, you know, sometimes when you order food, you know, they give you these options, so I recycle using that. And I'm gonna use this box to also use, you know, to put paints and stuff on there. And I'm gonna need something to pour in my water. This is also a little recycled dish. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start breaking this down into shapes. Right? So this is basically like the circular kind of shape, right, that you see for the deer head. And then we're going to do the ears right in here. We'll do the other ear, just kind of like that. And then this is where you're going to start doing your horns, right? Or the antlers. Do like this. Okay. So right now we're basically doing what's called like the placement, where things are going to go. And then you're going to do this little part right here, the chest. Like that. And then you're going to do the little feet. And then this is going to be the other deer, right? And her head is kind of more like this. See that? There's the nose. And the ears right here. And this kind of comes in like this. And then the two little legs. Right? And then the other little baby one, this one's kind of like in here. See? And then this one's kind of stepping up a little bit. And then this shape goes down like this. And then this goes down and that goes like that. See? And this is the other leg in the back. So now we basically have our deer in there. Now that we have this area done, what I'm going to start doing is just going in and covering in that area. So when you paint, basically it's like making lasagna. You're doing layers. You're doing like the bottom part, which is like the base color, the biggest area and the darkest area. I usually like to cover up. Right? So something like that. And cover all this area up. Okay. All this area. Spread your paint out nice and thick. Now I use different techniques when I paint. I mean I love using the pointillism technique, but it's not only pointillism. It's kind of like a mix of using different techniques. So I will use a lot of dots to kind of give it that fluffy feeling. But right now what we're doing is also just covering up the area. So you don't want to lose this area too much. So what I would do is just kind of keep it like this, and then we're going to use a lighter brown so that the head pops out. Okay, same here. So if you notice, we have different browns, right? We're not only going to use one flat brown, we're going to use many different versions. So that's kind of coming in there like that. Okay. And then this brown up here, we'll kind of use it like that. We're doing the darker areas. Okay, now that we have that brown, what we're going to do is I'm going to get a different color. I'm going to get my raw umber. So it's basically if you have lighter browns or darker browns. Now what I do is I get a little bit of paint, and then you're just going to put a little bit of paint on your palette. Like that. You're going to use this brown, and you can, for example, do it on this part right here. I think it's important to look at your palette. Notice how I have the greens in here. I have the very dark green. I have this middle tone, the blue, and a lighter green. Okay, so I'm going to start laying down the darks. And this is where I do use a little bit of that that pointillism technique, right? So I started putting in my darker areas, kind of in here. You don't want to just waste that color by not being able to see it, so you want some of that light blue to still come through. What do you see? I see trees in the background. I see a little bit of this light green, like kind of hillside coming through. So if the lighter you go in the bottom, the more the deer are going to look like they're coming at you, like they're towards you. And the darker you go in the back towards up here, the further away that area is going to look. So it's kind of a way of tricking the eye. The further back it gets pushed. So I'm going to put yellow basically over my light green areas. You can see how I'm holding my brush? Like that? It kind of helps you make your dots a little easier. Gives you a little bounce. Kind of think of like where your trees are going to start going. Kind of start doing the green part of your trees. Come back in, put some green. Green dots in here. Some green up here. Remember, it's like you're building. I said it was like lasagna where you put the pasta first, and then you put the cheese, and you put the sauce, and you put the, garlic or vegetables, and then you could put like the meat. If you eat meat, it's the same. Like you're putting the darker colors, the bigger areas, and you're putting the middle colors, the mid-tones, and then the light and the more details on the top of that, right? Okay, so now I'm going to use my very dark green, and I'm going to start outlining, my deer. Okay, so you can use a line. Once again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I kind of like that it's a little kind of loose. Oh, I think I'll kill her. Oh, the nose is gonna go on. Look what hair is gonna go on. Okay. Now we're gonna let that dry a little bit, and then we're gonna come back and put in the whites, but it has to be completely dry. So you're gonna have to wait about 10 to 15 minutes for the paint to dry so that you can give it the next layer. So now we have some white in our palette. Get it. So we're gonna add a little bit of the white. Now see how we still have some of that canvas coming through? That looks really cool. I like the way that looks. I'm gonna do the eyes. So see how I have a really dark. Oh, and now we gotta do the white dots on the deer. Okay. So see how I'm looking over here? See, copying. So cool. The white dots really popped everything out. So see? All right, you guys, I think we're done. Wow, this came out really fun. Look at this. How cool is that? See you guys later. Bye.